In this video, I'm going to teach you how you should use Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 according to best practices for B2B and B2C, how you should build a system that sells for you, and how you should be measuring your marketing results. That way you can double down on what's actually working. Now, I'm Drew Brockbank. I'm an official Zoho consulting partner, and I'm the owner of Brockbank Consulting. I've implemented Zoho over 100 times for over 100 organizations, and I've managed over $1 million in Zoho client revenue. Now, it's hard getting the most out of Zoho, so if you would like help unlocking Zoho's full potential for your business, book a free consultation and get the elite Zoho help that you will need. So I'm going to do a rapid fire demonstration here in order for you to keep the end in mind throughout the duration of this video so you can see what this is all leading to. Okay, so first and foremost, most people using Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 are also using Zoho CRM, and they are syncing their data with Zoho CRM, which is the right thing to do because your CRM is the heart of your tech stack. It's usually going to have more data than what you're having in Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. Yes, they have different storage engines, which means you have to do a sync. So you can see I have my data inside of Zoho CRM, but I don't just have my data here. I've laid out my data from left to right so I can actually do something about the data. It's more actionable when it's laid out in this Kanban view, and I can see my processes from left to right, which makes things easier from an end user perspective, and it improves reporting, which you'll see in just a moment. Okay, so that's the first thing. I can sync my data. You can see this is the sync screen inside of Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. I'm syncing both my contacts and my leads. The next thing here is I don't have to use my CRM database. I can actually, through Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0, I can just generate leads from the form on the landing page builder. So you can see here, you are able to build landing pages inside of Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. You can see that on some of these, there are different forms right at the top. And so what I can do is I can append this page, this landing page, to my site and generate leads, and then just have those leads enter directly into Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. I'd say most of the time people are using Zoho CRM, but I want you to be aware that you can use this independently from Zoho CRM, okay? You can also, once you set up the sync, if you have leads come in from the landing page, they will also port over to Zoho CRM, so keep that in mind as well. Next thing that's important to understand, now that we talked about data, getting data into Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 so you have your contacts, let's talk about segmentation. It's not very helpful to just have 10,000 contacts in an application, and when you're ready to send an email, you're like, who's who? Are these customers? Are they just leads? Are they new leads who have just subscribed to our newsletter? Or are they customers that we've had for 10 plus years? You have to have an understanding of who is in your contact list, and that brings us to segmentation. When you segment your contacts, you can send tailored communications to the people in your contacts list, and you can send the right communications at the right time. So you want to make sure you do segmentation correctly. After you've done segmentation, you are in good shape to actually send out different communications. Now the most popular ways to do it is number one, through email. Most people, most of the time, are just sending emails. If you want, you can also do SMS, and there are some other options, but between SMS, so sending a text, and then email, that's where most people, that's the kind of communications that most people are sending throughout Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. So you can see I have this example here of a new video release email template that I have built out, and I have selected my audience here to send it out to. Next thing that's critical to understand. So what I just showed you is a one-time email blast, okay? And I'd say that's on the reactive side of marketing, which means at the end of the month, or if I, for example, in this example, if I've created a new video, I'm gonna react to that new video by creating a email saying new video released. This would be like doing a newsletter at the end of the month. You can't plan that out in advance. You have to be reactive about news or creating a video. You also have the proactive side of marketing, right? What you can do here is you can plan out a series of communications, and this would be more proactive as opposed to reactive, so that when someone enters your CRM or they fill out a form on a landing page, you can then automatically have your system sell for you and take your prospective customers through a series of communications in the hopes that you can nurture them and get them ready for the sale. Okay. Most people filling out a form are not ready to go right off the bat. And so this is a way to keep in touch with them and give them information that's helpful so that you can hopefully sell them something. Okay. So that's your two sides. You got reactive, which is like a one-time email blast or SMS blast or any other type of communication. Then you have the proactive side, which is, hey, I'm going to plan out a workflow, a series of communications that will automatically go out when people meet a certain criteria or fill out a certain form. Finally, you want to measure your results. If you do all of that and don't measure results, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You want to make sure that you're seeing what is driving revenue. This is really difficult to do. I'm also subpoint here. I'm creating this executive dashboard, and it's a B2B. You can also do this for B2C. This is just a B2B dashboard inside of Zoho Analytics. I'm not doing this inside of Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. The reason being, the Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 in-app report builders are quite limited in comparison to Zoho Analytics. Most of my clients are on Zoho 1, which means they have access to this. You can still build similar reports to this, but if you want to tie a marketing activity or source directly to revenue, I highly recommend that you use Zoho Analytics because it's much more robust. Here's the principle. I want to be able to tell, let's say the 0 said email instead. Okay, this is a demonstration dashboard. I'd be able to see exactly how much revenue is coming to the organization from the emails that I've sent. So if you're using a last touch attribution model, and let's say I sent out this email, you can see there's book a free consultation. There are UTM parameters in this booking link. So if someone was to click on this and they were to go to my website, oh, okay, it's in a demo one, so you're not gonna be able to see it. But when you click on book now, it takes them to the website as UTM parameters. One of them is gonna be source email. If you work on a last touch attribution model, when I say attribution model, I'm like, what are you attributing success to? The last thing that they did, the first thing that they did, the most popular way to do it is with the last touch attribution model. If someone clicks book now here, they end up on the website. And then after they have a conversation with me, they actually purchase something from me. Again, this is a B2B example. You can also do this for B2C. Then I'd be able to see in the dashboard here that email as a source. Again, let's pretend this is email, has produced X amount in revenue. Or I could see that our emails are doing nothing and that we've been setting them for a year. And based on our attribution model, it's not doing anything at all. Now that brings up a whole other argument with fundamental attribution argument, which is what is fundamentally producing the leads. But that's what you want to get to. You want to get to the point where all of your marketing efforts are being measured so you can see exactly what's working and what's not. Let's go over the Zoho Marketing Automation interface. That way you can move around in the application with confidence. So here in Zoho Marketing Automation, I'm on the dashboard. Now, a couple of important things to call out here. Number one, you can see how many contacts have been captured in your Zoho Marketing Automation instance. Then you have deals won. The reason I'm getting deals won information is I've integrated Zoho CRM with Zoho Marketing Automation, which you should do, especially if you're in Zoho CRM. It's just low hanging fruit. Integrate with it so you can see your deals here too, and total revenue and average revenue for contacts. So that's what you see at the top, and that's helpful. What I think is more helpful is not just storing your contacts database inside of Zoho Marketing Automation, but seeing your information in relation to your process. And the process is what we'd refer to as the buyer's journey. Now, to take one step back here, Zoho CRM is designed to manage the buyer journey from lead in to deal closed won. Zoho Marketing Automation is designed to track the journey from raw lead to sales ready. So raw lead can certainly be a status for you inside of Zoho CRM. A raw lead just means you've gotten information for some kind of opportunity or person, but they haven't necessarily opted into your marketing communication. So maybe you're buying a list of information for prospective customers in your industry. Whatever the situation is, it's information you have on an opportunity, but they haven't necessarily opted in yet to your marketing communications. Then you've got marketing ready, which means they have opted in and they have like a valid email address or a valid phone number that you can send communications to. Then you've got marketing engaged, which means you've actually sent promotional material or marketing messages to that person. Then you've got marketing qualified, which means they breached some kind of criteria. For example, you can set up lead scoring. On one hand, you can do information-based scoring. On the other hand, you can do behavior-based scoring. So information-based scoring, as an example, would be if their title contains CEO, add 10 points. You could also put for behavior-based scoring, if they click on an email, add 10 points. So let's say they breach 100 points, you consider them marketing qualified. Now, once they're marketing qualified, you'd consider them sales ready, which means, hey, we've done our job in marketing, we're ready to hand them off. Now, I'm talking about this as if there's multiple departments. Maybe you are a company of one, which is totally fine. If you're a solopreneur, you can still use this process. It's a best practice. But what's helpful is you don't just see your information here, you see your information in relation to your processes. That way you know how well your marketing and promotional efforts, how effective they are in Zoho Marketing Automation. So that's the dashboard. It gives you a 30,000 foot view of what's going on. You can also see there's some other reports here that are worth mentioning: MQL by source, contact by source, revenue source by last interaction, and contact lifecycle over time. Okay. Also, you can change this timeline filter so that you can see this information in relation to a specific period of time. And then you have some filtration or filtering capabilities here, and then you can refresh the dashboard. Okay. So let's talk about this contact section. In contacts, you also get a contact specific dashboard where you can see the total amount of contacts again, marketing qualified, and then sales ready contacts in your instance of Zoho Marketing Automation. You can also view all the contacts in your instance here. You can see your lists and segments. Now, this is where things get confusing between lists and segments. So a list is static and a segment is dynamic. And there is overlap between these two, but I'm going to give you a recommendation in my preference so that it's more clear as what you should do. So when you bring contacts into Zoho Marketing Automation, let's say you did a business event and you had a lot of people come, you had people sign up on some kind of system, and you got a list of people from that event. Well, you could bring them into your Zoho Marketing Automation instance as a new list, or you could do it as a segment. A list would be static, so you'd import directly to that list. And then a segment looks at your entire database, and then you can build a criteria around the segment, and then people will automatically enter. So for example, let's say the marketing event was your company seminar. You could build a segment where it says, if lead source is your company seminar, then enter the segment. But for the list, you should actually import that data directly to the list. So to make things less confusing, I would recommend using segments because it's dynamic. It's where things are moving towards, is doing criteria-based grouping of your contacts, whereas lists is more strict, and you're really supposed to import data into specific lists to have them exist in the list section. So again, I would recommend using segments. It's more dynamic, it's flexible. Lists are static and they're more strict, but you can import data into certain lists if you wanted to. So that's something to keep in mind. The one thing that makes this really confusing is you can add contacts on criteria within lists as well. So it's almost like they married the idea of, hey, you have to import into specific lists information that you want, but then they kind of backpedaled and they're like, well, people like segments and that you have to do it based on criteria. Here's the segment criteria. So they kind of backpedaled there, but there is overlap, but I recommend using segments. Okay, let's talk about topics. So the idea behind topics is you want to send relevant communications to people in your Zoho Marketing Automation instance. For example, if someone signs up for your newsletter, they probably don't want your customer updates. So you could have a topic for customer updates. You know, if they're not a customer yet, they probably don't want those kind of updates. So that's where you can split your communications up into different topics. Also, what this allows you to do is when someone receives one of your marketing communications, let's say that it's an email. At the bottom of the email, there will be a section for managing preferences. People can say in the manage preferences section, I want to receive your newsletter and I want to receive your product updates, but that's it. I'm going to unsubscribe to all your other topics. That way they're getting the communications that they want. Now, I've noticed this gets really confusing. This is more advanced, so I wouldn't stress too much initially about setting up every single topic you can think of, but use this as you grow so that you can tailor your communication. That's the purpose of topics. Don't stress about it too much. You can just leave them all in marketing initially. And then if you're selling multiple products, for example, Zoho's use case would be Zoho Analytics might be a product, and then Zoho CRM might be a product with different updates under each. And then I could manage my preferences with Zoho, saying I don't want to receive Zoho Learn updates, only Zoho Analytics, Zoho CRM, just to give you some more clarity there. Okay, let's talk lead qualification. So the idea behind lead qualification is you want to set up scoring so that and here you go, here's behavior-based scoring, website activities-based scoring, and then field-based scoring. Then the idea is that you can award a certain amount of points for certain behaviors and certain information that you're gathering. That way you can know if this person is a good opportunity to hand over to sales. Now we're talking strictly inbound here. You could use Zoho marketing automation for outbound. It's really not what it's built for, and the system's going to work against you. Think about it this way. HubSpot's marketing automation platform, Zoho marketing automation is trying to be a parallel to HubSpot. HubSpot penalizes you for doing outbound. So will Zoho marketing automation. It's just not how the system is designed to be used. So keep that in mind. Then you've got lead attribution. So the idea behind lead attribution is you want to know, where are your leads actually coming from? And there's different models you can use for attributing success to generating a lead. So for example, I'll just give you an example. Let's say someone wanted Zoho consulting services. And the first thing that they did is they looked up on Google Zoho consulting services, and they went on my website. And then they filled out a form, a subscribe to my newsletter form. And then 2 months later, they watched a YouTube video of mine. And they're like, I remember this guy. He has this company that I looked on his website. And then they submit a book a free consultation form. Are we going to attribute success to the initial Google search? Or are we going to attribute success to the YouTube video? And you can answer this question with multiple models. So one popular model is last touch. So we're going to attribute 100% of the success of this sale or opportunity or lead being generated to the last thing that they did that we measured. Because we can't measure everything either, right? So we just measured those two things. Maybe in between there was, they went on my LinkedIn, or they went on and found out about me on some forum or something. But the two things that we measured was a Google search and then YouTube. So last touch would be 100% of the success goes over to YouTube. And if we did a first touch, then it's the first thing that we measured that we would grant success to or attribute success to, which would be the Google search. I will say this to you. Most organizations are on a last touch attribution model because it's the easiest one to measure and to set up. You can try to do a multi-touch attribution model. I'm just telling you, it is extremely difficult, and the juice is not worth the squeeze for 99% of you. So just keep that in mind for lead attribution. Okay, let's talk lead generation section here. Okay, so you've got sign up forms, you've got sign up pop-ups and landing pages. This is where Zoho marketing automation shines. Not only are you able to send out communications to your contacts list, you can grow your contacts list by creating a landing page, putting it on your website. You can append landing pages to your website. So you can see here, this is where you're able to create different landing pages. I'm just going to give you a quick view of all the templates here for Zoho marketing automation. So you can create these, and then you can also add forms to these pages and pop-up forms to these pages so you can collect more contacts so you can market to more people. So this is where you can build sign up forms, sign up pop-ups, and then landing pages. Sign up form is typically used for someone who's going to become sales ready, like contact us, book a free consultation, book a clarity call, whatever you want to call it. Sign up pop-ups are usually tailored to marketing communication, like get 50% off and put in your email here. We'll send you the coupon code, or subscribe to our newsletter, whatever it might be. They're usually more marketing ready centric call to actions. Then landing pages obviously is just to present your offer or whatever it is that you want to give more information on. Then you've got journeys. And the key thing to understand about a journey is you can be proactive in the messaging that you want to send to someone. So quickly, just to show you what this would look like in the gallery, you can design communications to be sent. Here, I jumped into landing pages. Let me go to journey for you, view journeys. To show you this demo journey, you can be proactive in the communications that you are going to send to somebody. So instead of at the end of the month sending out a newsletter, if you wanted to be more proactive and say, you know what, I know the 10 things that people are most concerned about when we offer our service, I'm going to make an email for each one of those concerns, breaking down our solutions and how we solve for these things. That way we can remove roadblocks and make it easier for people to purchase from us. That's when you would use a journey versus a one-time email blast, because then every single person in a certain segment or list will get those communications in a structured manner. So you're probably familiar with journeys or workflows. You've probably seen something like this before, but it's where you can be more proactive about the messaging and marketing materials that you are sending to people in your segments and in your lists. Okay, so that's journey. Think of that as proactive, which means you create it first, and then people just start to funnel through there. Then you've got reactive messaging. Both of these are good, by the way. It's good to draw the line between the two. If you're being reactive, usually you're creating a newsletter, and you can't be proactive about the newsletter because the news happens over the course of a month, right? So you can't be proactive about the news that's going to happen throughout the year. You have to be reactive to that. So that's the difference here is Zoho Marketing Automation has your journeys for proactive messaging, and then you have your marketing campaigns for reactive messaging. Okay, let's go in order here to Marketing Planner. So this is one of the nice capabilities about Zoho Marketing Automation is you are able to plan your different marketing activities and communications in advance. You can see it in terms of a Kanban board. So your different ideas for campaigns, if you've started, in progress, scheduled, and completed. And then you are able to keep track of all that information in one place, which is quite helpful. This is something you'll grow into. Don't worry about using every single feature here. Honestly, just use what you need. And then as you grow, these capabilities will be here. The principle I want you to think of, it's better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. But don't worry about using everything all at once. Use the 20% of this application that's going to give you 80% of the results that you're looking for. And then you can grow into other features and functionalities over time. Zoho Marketing Automation is built to be grown into. You don't have to use everything at first in order to get the most out of this application, really in order to adopt it. So in order to adopt it, just use the 20%. That's going to give you 80% of the results. And that's really what this video is about, showing you that 20%. Okay, marketing campaigns. So this is reactive messaging, right? And here's the different channels that you have the opportunity to message from. So you got email, social, SMS, WhatsApp, engagement pop-ups. Those are the different marketing campaigns that you can run. Engagement pop-ups would be like on your landing pages. So you have control over those landing pages from Zoho Marketing Automation if you do want to do pop-ups. You got email, text, your different social media platforms, and WhatsApp. Okay, then you got website analytics. So if you want to track the traffic coming into your websites or your landing pages, then you need to apply the code, which we'll show you in just a moment where that's located. You can see a dashboard of all the traffic that's happening on your website. You can see the different behaviors that are happening. These reports are generated after you actually embed the code. You can see where you're actually acquiring. So again, it's like, think about attribution. Where are they actually, how are you acquiring the traffic to your website? If you have different goals, and then you can make smart URLs, which are just a way to keep track of, hey, if people click on certain things, tracking how they got to your website. Okay. Then you've got your library, which are the different assets in your system. So you can see your different files here. So you can see I've got a couple files here. You can store your email templates in your library. That way you can reuse email templates instead of building them in email from scratch every single time. You've got WhatsApp templates, a Giphy here, Google Photos, Flickr. Pretty cool what you can do here in the Zoho Marketing Automation Library. Quick thing here, you've also got the search functionality if you want to search for certain assets, campaigns throughout your Zoho Marketing Automation instance. Then you've also got this bell icon, which is for the notifications in your instance. Then you've got settings. So we're going to move over to settings. So you got your brand settings. So if you want to configure information related to your company details, you can do that here. You can also set up your portal, and then you have your currencies. You have contact fields here that you can configure, sign up pages and emails. You can customize the landing page forms and emails for email footer links. You've got notifications. You have your subscription that you're on, consent and privacy. Then we're going to move over into these general sections too. So compliance settings, if you have GDPR, so if you're in Europe, you're going to want to make sure GDPR is selected. Cookies, policy banner. If you want to notify people when they jump onto your landing page that you are tracking cookies, make sure to enable this. You have double opt-in if that's required for you, or if you just want to do that. You can have when people are entered into Zoho Marketing Automation, they are sent an email saying, please confirm that you've actually, so double opt-in works like this, just to be clear. someone signs up on your website and they say in the form, you might have a section like this. I'll actually just show you on my website. So if someone goes over to Z Training, for example, you'll see we may also use your personal information to contact you with information about special offers and our products and services. So they say, I accept. This is their way of saying, I want promotional material. So if you have a lead magnet like that, the purpose of double opt-in is not only to have them opt in once through the form, but opt in again by sending them an email and say, did you mean to subscribe to us? Was this you or was this someone else? Because the idea is that technically someone else could go on my website and fill out someone else's information and then they're just subscribed and they didn't mean to. So that's the purpose behind double opt-in for Zoho Marketing Automation. You've got audit logs to see what people have done. That way, if there's, let's say something was deleted and you want to find out who deleted this and people are being sheepish about it, you go in and you could say, okay, this is the person who deleted this list. And you could do some training around that. You have portal users, workspace. If you have multiple workspaces, which means multiple Zoho Marketing Automation instances, your roles and permissions. That way you can configure what people are capable of doing inside of the Zoho Marketing Automation platform. You got marketing channels such as email, SMS, web, social, and WhatsApp. And then you have your various integrations. So you want to make sure that you integrate with Zoho CRM, if that's the CRM that you're on. Also, there's integrations with Salesforce and HubSpot. They're not as good, but if you want to integrate with them, you can. And then you've got webhooks. So you can push data into you can push information from Zoho Marketing Automation to other tools. So let's say you're using Zapier, for example. In Zapier, you can set up a trigger via webhook, and then you can push that information wherever you want, or you could send the information to a particular API. So that is the overview of Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0's interface. You aren't going to get very far inside of Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 if you don't get set up correctly. So let's talk about authentication. So if you want to send, let's say, an email inside of Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0, what you got to do is you got to go to the settings or the cogwheel at the top right. From here, you'll go over to marketing channels. We're going to focus more on email and SMS because while people do use some of these other channels, these are the most popular. So let's say you wanted to set up your email. You'd go to this email section, and then you'll see here that there is a tab for sender and authentication, senders and authentication. Essentially what this is saying is prove to us that this is your domain. So you have to work with the notorious DNS. It is a horrible experience to work with the DNS, and each DNS is different, but it's your domain host. So for example, I'm on GoDaddy. That's my web hosting platform or where my domain is hosted. So my DNS settings are inside of GoDaddy. You may be on Bluehost or some other platform. I don't know. But what you have to do is when you add a sender and you go to setup, it's going to say, hey, you need to add SPF and DKIM records inside of your domain host in the DNS settings. And then this will authenticate your domain so that you're free to send emails from this domain in our platform. If they didn't have you do this, you could essentially say, hey, I'm Nike.com, I'm Disney.com, and they'd be like, okay, you're good to send emails from there. So there's a way to authenticate to make sure that you own the domain that you say you do. You need to go through this authentication layer, which is essentially copying these records, then adding them to your DNS settings. Once you've done this, you'll be able to send out an email. Okay, second thing, if you want to get ready to send SMS or text through Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0, you have this SMS gateway from Marketing Automation and you can purchase credits through it. So initially you're going to have to enable it. It's going to take you through an agreement. You'll agree to it, and then you can actually buy credits inside of Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 in order to send email, in order to send text from the platform. So that's how you can get set up on email and SMS. That way you're actually able to send emails from your custom domain and send text messages. There are two main ways of getting your contacts into Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. So the more popular, the one that I see the most, is integrating with your CRM. So we're going to go over that first. And then number two, we're going to go over how to manually import your contacts list into Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. All right, so if you go to the gear icon at the top right, you'll see under integrations, apps. If you click into apps, you'll see I've already integrated with Zoho CRM, but you'll want to connect for the first time by going to Connect App. Then from there, you'll see Zoho CRM. Also, if you're on another CRM, then you can integrate with that as well. Here's some other popular ones like Salesforce and HubSpot. They're not nearly as good, and they're more expensive. But if you're going to integrate with Zoho CRM, you'll actually click into Zoho CRM here, and then you'll be prompted to set up a new sync. Once you click here, you're first going to select the module that you want to sync with. Now, I'm going to go back here to show you I've synced with two modules, contacts and leads. If you're confused on what a module is, think about it like a tab in a spreadsheet or inside of Zoho CRM. It is one of the tabs that you can jump into. It's just a table of information. More likely than not, you're just going to select contacts and leads. The reason why is contacts also brings over, in field mapping, you'll see here, accounts and deals. So you can see accounts and deals here. You're able to access this information along with the contact sync. So contacts represent the people, leads represent unqualified opportunities. The reason that you want leads in addition to contacts is leads is the starting point in the CRM for information when you're doing sales for B2B, and a lead will convert into a contact. So you want to make sure you have this information here. Most of the magic in Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 is happening between a raw lead, a marketing ready lead, and a sales ready lead. So that's why you want to bring over leads as well. Okay, so first part of the new sync, you're just going to select the modules here, and then you're going to do the field mapping. To show you what the field mapping looks like, I'm just going to go into leads, show you the field mapping here. You're just selecting what fields from Zoho CRM in their storage engine is going to enter what fields inside of Zoho Marketing Automation. They're going to give you a default set of fields. You can always improve this over time by adding more fields if you want to, but that is how you can initiate the sync for your CRM in Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. If you have a file that you want to import into Zoho Marketing Automation that's full of contacts or leads, how do you actually import that in Zoho Marketing Automation? Well, inside of the application, you can go over to the contact section, then view contacts. Then you should go over to add contacts, and you have three options. Number one is single contact. So if you just want to add a single contact, you can do that. But if you want to import a CSV file that you have stored on your device, you go import from computer. Or if it was stored on the cloud, maybe you're using Google Drive or Zoho Work Drive, you can go to import from cloud. Most of you are going to have that on your computer, and you can go over to your files, grab the file. Once you click enter, all the file fields will populate, and you'll just have to map those with the certain Zoho Marketing Automation fields. So remember, in your file, the column headers are going to be the file field names. And then in Zoho Marketing Automation, if you don't have a field for the data that you're wanting to bring in, you got to create that field so there's a place to actually put it. So for example, this isn't a great file name, a file field name, but what I would do is I'd go here and go first name, and then I can select first name, and I'd go through all of these and make sure that they all match up. So once I match up all the fields, I'd go over to subscription details. I can go over and make sure that the correct subscription type is selected. Then I can go into my topics and make sure that my topics are appropriately selected for this list that I'm bringing in. And then I can also mass select that they've given consent to opt in for communications with the business. Guys, if you're buying a list and they haven't opted in, do not select this. Only select this if they have, in fact, given consent. Maybe you're bringing it over from another system where they previously marked or opted in that they want marketing communications from you. Then you have additional data, so you can add to a specific list. What I recommend is that you use segments. Go ahead and just import it, add your segment for certain criteria, and then the segment is dynamic. It will look at the criteria across your contact space and will update for you automatically. From there, you can go to import, and that is how you can import data in Zoho Marketing Automation. So how do you actually create a segment inside of Zoho Marketing Automation? Well, before we get into it, we need a use case. This will provide us with clarity so that things will make more sense when we actually create the segment. So let's say that you have your buyer journey laid out from left to right inside of your system, and you reached a lead, you had a conversation with them, and you had your qualification criteria ready, you had budget, authority, need, timeline, and they crossed the box on 3 of those qualification criteria metrics. They were the right person to talk to. They needed what you were offering, and you could deliver on the time frame that was needed, but they didn't have the budget, not right now, but they want to come back. Well, they're not qualified. They can't move forward yet. So what you do is you would throw them into recycled, not qualified. But here's the thing, you worked so hard to generate this lead as an organization through all your marketing and promotional things that you were doing. You don't want it to end there. And so you can automate the communication being sent to a not qualified lead via Zoho marketing automation. Okay. So what you would do from here is you'd want to create a segment. You'd want to make sure you had a segment for your recycled, not qualified leads. That way they could enter some sort of drip workflow or proactive messaging sequence that you have in Zoho marketing automation. So what would you actually do? Would you go into Zoho marketing automation? You'd go over to contacts. You'd go over to segments, and you may be thinking, well, why not use lists? Lists are more strict. Segments are more flexible. I prefer segments over lists, and it's just easier. So use segments. Okay, so then you have a segment here. You'd want to create a segment. Top right, you have that button, create segment. Here you would add your segment name. So we would do unqualified leads. Here's a point of clarification too, just before I forget. You have recycled, not qualified leads, and then you have rejected. The difference being recycled means they're not qualified now, but they may become qualified later. Junk is just someone who is like a terrible fit. They don't even need anything that you're offering, or it was like a bot that filled out a form on your website. Back to Zoho marketing automation. You'd put the segment name here. Then in criteria, this is the key thing. You can't build good segments without good data, and you can't bring good data into your system typically unless you're bringing it in from CRM. So keep that in mind. You're able to build this criteria well based on the data that's in your system. Okay, so you can see all this information that I have. I'm going to search for life cycle stage. So we're going to say if the life cycle stage is, and then we have here recycled, not qualified. I can select this, save and proceed. And now I have 37 unqualified leads here, which means I can then create a journey. You can see I haven't created one yet because this is a new segment, but I could have my proactive journey that this is associated with my unqualified leads. So that's how you can actually create a segment inside of Zoho marketing automation. Since we're talking about segmentation, I want to tell you about Clay. So Clay is a tool that can do data enrichment really well. If you don't know much about data enrichment, think about it this way. If you were to go on my website right now, you'd see a form. And if you fill out this form, I would get your first name, last name, email, whatever other fields I had on the form. But let's say I wanted your LinkedIn profile and I wanted to summarize what's on your website so that I could tell what your business is about without me having to do it manually. And I wanted to personalize, I wanted to create a personalized set of messages so that my communication is tailored towards you. Well, that falls under what Clay can do, not what Zoho can do. And so Clay is one of these platforms that can greatly support the Zoho platform. And so how do you actually do that? Well, I'm going to give you a quick run through of what Clay can do. So you can create a workbook or workflow inside of Clay. And you can start with a webhook, which allows you to send information from Zoho over to Clay, and then information will jump into this table. So here's the webhook. Here's the lead that I sent over from my instance of Zoho. And so this is the information that was filled out on the form. Everything to the left, everything to the right is enrichment data. So the first thing I could do, for example, is just see if the email is valid, right? In Zoho marketing automation, we don't want to send emails to invalid emails, or that can actually hit our domain and then prevent us from sending emails to everyone. So one of the first things I could do is I can go through enrichment here. I can go to zero bounce, and you'll see through zero bounce, I can validate the email. Okay, and that's just one credit there. You can get 100 credits for free per month, by the way, with Clay. So you can just use this for email validation if you wanted to, and then you can get into the more crazy stuff later. So the next thing you could do is you could get the LinkedIn profile. How can you do this? You might be wondering. Clay has a AI research assistant, which is really just a web scraper meets ChatGPT. And essentially it can say, hey, based on the first name and last name, well, I'll just show you how I built this actually. Let me go to edit column. Find the LinkedIn profile for first name, last name with company. If it's not found, output nothing. If the LinkedIn profile is found, only output the URL of the LinkedIn profile. Cool. So I get the LinkedIn profile. Well, now I can enrich from the LinkedIn profile. So I can get the first name there. I can verify it. I can get the title from the LinkedIn profile, connections, followers. Okay. You may find that interesting. That's a B2B use case, not B2C. So marketing automation could be used for both, by the way. But then you have a summary of who this person is, what country they're in, where their location is. I can enrich their company information too, get their company profile. I can get the image from their profile page in LinkedIn. I can get all this information. Also, I can analyze their website. So from the domain in the email address, I can say, hey, what is the industry that this person is in? What do they offer? What are their services? If they're a service-based business, I can summarize their sales processes and take a guess at it before I even meet them, because the more data I have, the better I can market to them and the better I can prepare for a sales meeting. Okay, what's another potential use case here that I think is helpful? So like you saw here, where I am saying, find the LinkedIn profile. What if I were to say something like, hey, this person is in industry ABC, and I'm sending them a marketing automation journey or a sequence of 7 different emails, personalize each email for this industry. I'm offering this product or service. Then it could output 7 different messages for me. And then I could take the information from the 7 different fields that it filled out, which would be AI generated. And then I could add that to Zoho Marketing Automation to send personalized messages at scale. So if you find that interesting, that's something that you can do here. We've done that for clients. They'll have different fields. They'll have 7 different fields for 7 different messages. They'll all be personalized via AI. And that allows you to do something that you just can't do inside of Zoho. So there's a lot of use cases for Clay, but that's how you could use Clay in tandem with the Zoho platform. If you want to keep your messaging organized, you want to check out topics within Zoho Marketing Automation. So you can create a topic by going over to contacts and then going over the topics section. And then here you will be able to add a topic. Now, before I show you how to do this, because it's really, really simple and straightforward, I'm going to tell you why you might want to do it. So when you are sent an email, let's say you've subscribed to someone's newsletter, but they're also giving you customer updates and you're not a customer and you're like, I don't want all these customer updates. I just want your newsletter information. You may be able to scroll down on the email and go to My Preferences at the bottom and then deselect different topics that you're not interested in. So if you want to create that capability, or if you want to offer that option to the recipients of your marketing communications, then you want to use topics, because that will allow them to manage their preferences for what topics they're subscribed to. That way they don't do just a blanket unsubscribe. They can unsubscribe to certain topics that you're sending out. So for example, your newsletter might be a topic and another topic might be customer updates. Now you may be organized differently. Maybe you offer multiple products and you want to center your topics around products. Either way, you can create your topics here. Now, this is probably overkill for most of you, but as your marketing efforts grow, you'll want to keep more organized and you'll want to offer that as an option to your marketing recipients. That way they don't just do a blanket unsubscribe. They just unsubscribe to the topics that they don't want to receive communications for. So here I'll go over to add topic just to show you how this works. Let's do topic example, and then you can create it. And then topic example here in marketing would show up as topics when I actually send out a marketing campaign. So I'll be able to associate different messages that I'm sending out to specific topics. That way, when people unsubscribe, I won't be sending communications to those people. Contacts won't be associated with that topic. So that's how you can create topics inside of Zoho Marketing Automation. So how do you actually send emails from Zoho Marketing Automation? Well, what you do is you'd go into Zoho Marketing Automation, you'd go over to Marketing Campaigns. You'll see there is a section for email and you'd click on that. Now from here, you'd go over to the Create button at the top right, and then you can name the campaign. So as an example, let's say I was sending out a video or sending out an email announcing that I've created this video, Zoho Marketing Automation video release. That's what I would call it. I'd associate a topic right there. Went over that kind of quick. Right here, I would associate that topic. I'd go over to next and click on simple email to save and proceed. And then from here, I can select the recipients. So typically you're going to use segments here, but you could use lists. You can base this on tags, or you do something custom criteria for this specific campaign. More likely than not, you're going to use segments. You're going to select the segment that you would like to send the communication out to, then you're going to save it. From there, you can add a subject, and this is the exact same thing as if you were to go into your email client, whether it be Gmail, Zoho Mail, or your Microsoft email account, Outlook, and you put a subject in the subject line of that email. It's the same thing. So what I would do here is I do Zoho video release, Zoho marketing automation 2.0 full training. Okay, so you could also do a pre-header if you want. I'd save that. I'd also go here and make sure that there is a sender, just so you know you can send from multiple email addresses inside of Zoho marketing automation. So for example, I could send this as if it came from my personal email address. So I could do, drew@brockbankconsulting.com, or I could do marketing@brockbankconsulting.com if I wanted to as well. So you can select the email address that you want to send out from, and then you can put the name that's going to show up for the email. So it's like, who sent this? It'll say Drew Brockbank at me@drewbrockbank.com. You can also select here, use different reply to addresses. So again, if you were to send it out from marketing@yourdomain.com, you may want to receive it to your personal email. So you could do a reply to email address as well. So that is quite nice. You can also, this is really interesting, you could send it out from marketing@yourdomain.com, but receive the emails to the owner of that lead so that your reps get the emails for the communications that you're sending it out, which is actually quite cool. So you can do that as well. And then you can have an alternate here as well. You can also track replies that way. And just to show you the info, you can track and monitor your contacts' replies to your email campaign. That way, when you send it out, if they click on it or click on any of the elements in your email, you can get tracking there. And you can just see if people actually opened it. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then when you go to add content, take advantage of templates that you've built. So you can see I have a template here. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. So basically it took that template, recreated an email for me that I can modify. This doesn't actually modify the template. This is just a duplicated version of the template. It's now its individual instance. So I can save and proceed here. If I wanted to modify that, I could modify it. In the example that I gave, if I'm talking about Zoho marketing automation, I could switch that in here at the top for the email. And then from there, I can see total count of people who are going to receive this. I can do an A/B test if I want to. I can associate to the topics that are relevant, the topics that's relevant to this communication. And then I can set a response action. This is quite cool. So let's say someone clicked on the link. I could actually add them to a journey and say, I want them to also receive this marketing communication journey where they can learn more about the video, or they can learn about services that are associated with the video that I just released. So you can add a workflow rule on top of your marketing communication. So when people actually interact with it, they receive more communication. So from here, you can review and launch it. And then you can decide to send immediately. You can do it in batches. So you can say, hey, I have a segment of 1,000 people, want to do it 100 at a time. You can do optimal open time. That's something that's collected in Zoho's database. When it analyzes someone's opening behavior, it will set an optimal open time for them, or you can schedule it to send later. So that is your options for sending out a campaign in Zoho marketing campaigns. And this is how you can send an email campaign in Zoho marketing automation. How do you actually send a text campaign from Zoho marketing automation? Well, inside of the application, you will go over to the marketing campaign section, and then you will see an option for SMS. So if you click there, you can go ahead and create an SMS campaign. Now, before you do that, if you don't have a SMS gateway set up, you're going to need to have that set up first. Now, an option for you is to go over to settings under marketing channels SMS, and you can use Zoho marketing automation's gateway. Now, again, if you're not set up on a gateway, you're not going to be able to send SMS messages through Zoho marketing automation. So this is one gateway option for you where you can purchase credits and then register your sender details so that you're actually capable of sending texts from the Zoho marketing automation platform. Now, if you don't want to do that, because for example, I recommend that people use message media as a gateway, because inside of Zoho CRM, if you want texting capabilities on a one-on-one basis, and they have a great UI UX for doing that, the best UI UX for doing that inside of Zoho CRM, then you're going to want to use message media. That might change, but for now and for a long time, that's been the best way to send text from Zoho CRM is through the message media smooth messenger plugin in Zoho CRM. So I'm already registered or set up on message media. So I'm going to use that gateway, and you can see it right here. So when I go to create a campaign, I'm going to do a Zoho demo SMS campaign here. You can see I've got the marketing automation gateway, or I can use Cinch Message Media. You're in luck if you're on a different platform. You've got a couple options here. A lot of you will be on Twilio, so that's a popular one that's also available here. So you've got all these different gateways that you can register with, and you can use these different gateways to actually send communications. So once you've selected your gateway and you've created the campaign name, you're going to enter an interface that's very similar to what you would see when you create a Zoho marketing automation email campaign. So the first thing that you're going to do is select who do you want to send this message to. So you'll go over to add contacts. You'll see lists, segments, tags, and custom. Now I'm going to recommend that most of the time you use segments, but you can also send a SMS campaign to a list that you have in your marketing automation instance, to a group of contacts with the same tags. And you can create custom criteria for this specific campaign if you wanted to. If this is confusing to you, just default to using segments. I'll select an example segment here. This is unqualified leads. So all my leads where I had a call with them, a sales call, and then during the sales call, they were not qualified to move forward. That would be my unqualified leads. You can also include exclusion criteria. So you can say, hey, everyone in this list, except for if certain criteria is met, we don't want to send over to them. You can save your two preferences, whether it be a segment or a list, or another option. And then from here, you'd actually create the content of the SMS campaign. Now you can do some cool stuff here. So for example, I worked with clients to create an integration with a tool called Clay, where we can essentially send personalized communications at scale. So there's levels to personalization right here. You can see if I say, hey, first name, we have a summer sale for 50% off X product. So there's levels of personalization. At the first level, you're merging information from their record into the message. That's the first level of personalization. You can take it a step further now with AI, where you can send their contact information to a tool like Clay, and Clay can use AI to analyze their LinkedIn profile, their company website, the information in their contact record. Then you can prompt Clay, just like you would ChatGPT, and say, based on this information and based on this offer, create a personalized message for offering this to somebody, offering this to this prospect or this organization, and it will create a personalized message for them. You can do that at scale. So you could do that for 6 different offers that you have. And then you can send that information back into Zoho Marketing Automation into one of these fields. So you could see, instead of saying company name, you might have a field here that says personalized AI message 1. Then you could select that, and then they would receive that message. So if you want to do personalized messaging at scale, that's possible too. Now that's more advanced, but I want to give you an idea of how powerful this can be. So from here, you can save it. You got to have an unsubscribe link, but you're going to see exactly what this message is going to look like on a phone interface, which is quite nice. And then you have to include that opt-out. That's just part of the Zoho. Most marketing automation platforms are going to force you to include that. You can't just send these unsolicited texts, or even if they've opted in, and then not give them an opportunity to opt out. Okay, so you can see the total number of people in the segment that you're going to send out to. If you click there, you'll see the SMS gateway that you've chosen. You can also choose different response actions. So what's nice about this is you can say, hey, if a text is delivered or if the recipient clicks on any link, I want to associate this activity. So if someone clicks on a link, then I want to add them to a list. I want to update a field, remove them from a list, assign them a tag, remove a tag, add to a journey, modify the score. You have different options here. So you could say, hey, if they click on a link, then they probably want to find out more about that product. We have a whole journey dedicated to that product so they can learn more over a period of time, and you can select that journey. Okay, so that's an option for you to inside of this campaign builder interface, and then you can launch it. You can either send immediately or you can schedule this to be sent at a different time. So that's how you can send an SMS campaign from Zoho Marketing Automation. How do you send a social campaign from Zoho Marketing Automation? Well, first you'll go into the application, then you'll go over to Marketing Campaigns. You'll see an option for social. You'll click on social, then you can create a social campaign. But before you do that, you need to make sure you're connected to your social media platforms. In order to do this, you'll go up to the settings icon at the top right. Then you'll go over to marketing channels. Under that, you'll see social. From here, you can connect to your different social media channels. You'll see I'm already connected with my LinkedIn account, but you can add your social for Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Those are the current options that are available at the time that I'm making this video. From there, once you've connected with your social media platforms, you can go back to the marketing campaigns social section. You can create a social campaign. So from here, we're going to do a Zoho demonstration campaign. I'll select my LinkedIn brand. And then from there, I can create the post. So I can say, hey, ABC, here's a new offer at our company. Learn more here, ... Whatever you'd like to put for the post, you can put it here. That's the content of the post. And you can add different emojis if you'd like, or you can upload different files to this as well. Now, the advantage that you have from doing it in here versus going to the actual platform itself is you can create one message in one place and send it out to multiple platforms all in one go. So if you're going to do the work to create it for LinkedIn, why not post it through X and Facebook or other platforms? If you're doing the work, you might as well get the most out of it. So that's where you can use this as a way to send out your content and create these campaigns. Now, once you've created this, you can go over to launch, and then you can post immediately, or you can schedule the post for later. You can choose that date, time, and the time zone that will be scheduled. So that is how you can create and send a social campaign in Zoho Marketing Automation. How do you create a journey inside of Zoho Marketing Automation? Well, when you jump into the application, you'll see a section for journeys. Then if you go to view journeys, you can create your first journey by clicking on the create journey button. Now we're going to just name this demo so that we can see the different templates that are available to give us inspiration on what's possible with Zoho Marketing Automation journeys. So this is what you would refer to as proactive messaging versus reactive messaging. So a reactive message would be something like the email campaigns that we talked about earlier in this video, where we talked about, hey, if you're doing a newsletter, at the end of the month, you're going to collect all the news that's happened, put that into an email, and you can send it out. You have to do that in a reactive way. You can't proactively plan all the news that's going to happen over the year because the news hasn't happened yet. But in this case, we're being proactive. So for example, if we have an offer of a particular service or product in the business that we want to push, we'd want to create a journey inside of Zoho Marketing Automation to explain things to remove barriers from the purchase. So if there's 10 major concerns that you know that come up oftentimes with a certain service you're trying to sell, you can address those concerns via emails and then plan them out proactively. So when people enter your contacts list, they receive all those communications that you want them to. So that is why you'd want to create a journey. Now we're going to create one from scratch to give you the best idea possible of how you would build this. Now don't worry about making this some super over-engineered, crazy looking canvas. Just start simple initially. So I'm going to show you what the bare minimum that it takes to get this up and running, and then you'll have an idea of how to build this. And then you can get, there's a lot of crazy things you can do here, but I'm going to give you like the 10% that's going to give you 90% of the results, and then you can play around with this as well. Most people are going to trigger a journey with a segment, right? So if someone's added to the segment, they're going to start receiving communications. Now, as an example, to provide some clarity around this, you may not be in B2B, you may do B2C, but I'm going to give you a B2B example. So if you're in my organization, Brockman Consulting, and someone enters the book a free consultation, they meet with me, and then I mark them as unqualified. Maybe they didn't have the budget, maybe it's not the right time, maybe it's some other factor. I have a segment called unqualified leads that you can see here. So here's my unqualified lead. So I'd select that. And I've got a couple options here that we'll go over. Allow entry of existing and new contacts from the segment, allow entry of contacts that entered the segment from now on, or allow entry of those contacts that are already in the segment right now. So both net new or contacts that exist in the segment. So I can select that. I'm going to select both. Now, what I'd want to do from here is, because I worked really hard for this lead, I want to create a 6-month drip so that in the future, if it is the right time or they do have the budget, then I'm top of mind for them because I've been sending them proactive communications for 6 months. That's something that's harder to do with the reactive messaging. It's easier to create it once and then have it work for you for a long time than always having to remember at the end of the month to send the newsletter. So what I would do here is I would select that segment, and then we're going to quickly go over all these different triggers just so you're aware of the capabilities. Add it to list, remove from list, form submission, email action, WhatsApp action, date field criteria match, tag assigned, tag removed, lead stage update, lead score update, goals achieved, page visit. Page visit is interesting because you could actually say, since you'll have the Zoho marketing automation embed code installed on your site, if they visit a key page that talks about a service you want to offer or a product, you can push them into the journey so they can receive more information on that product. That's pretty advanced, but it's kind of cool. Open trigger, exit segment, abandoned cart, purchase follow-up, and cyclic. Okay, so the process from here would be to use this process section to determine the sequence of events that are going to happen. So I have this if-else split, multi-way split, random split, merge. That just affects the sequence of events inside of the journey. So I could select those. For now, I'm just going to slide forward into action. So now that we have the trigger, we decided when is someone actually going to receive this? Well, if I mark them as unqualified after a call, they're immediately going to enter the segment. But let's say I wanted to delay the communication. Like right after I have the meeting, I don't want them to enter a drip where they're receiving information saying, hey, you're not qualified, but here's some more information. So what I would do is I would add a delay. So I'm going to add a wait condition here. I'm going to select here. Actually, we're not going to do wait condition. We're just going to do a delay. So let's get the delay here, time delay, and we'll hook this up together. And once this is hooked up, I can determine how much the delay is going to be. So it's going to be 1 day delay. And we're going to do between 9 and 5, that's 17, 9 to 5 p.m. And then we're going to use MST. I'm in Utah, so that's my time zone. And then only on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, only on working days on B2B. I don't want to send messages to people on the weekend when they're not available. Okay, so that would be my time delay. And then from there, I'm going to drag send email onto the canvas. Now I could do SMS if I wanted to, but we're just going to keep it email for now. We're going to keep it really simple. I'm going to create an email campaign. So from here, what I can do is I can name this campaign. We're just going to do demo for now to fly through this. I'm going to go over to next. And then I'm going to select simple email and select a template that I've already created. So I'm going to base it on this template. We're going to go to add subject. This is very similar if you went through the section in this video regarding creating an email campaign from scratch. This is the same series of steps. Do test. And then from here, we'll add sender details. Don't actually do this. This is just me flying through it. And then I will use my newsletter template and I will save and proceed with that. So this will take a minute to load. And once the content saves, I can go over to topics, assign a topic, and then I can send for review. So Zoho Marketing Automation will review. They have a compliance team, so they will accept this. They don't do this every time, but they will review campaigns in order to see if it meets their compliance criteria. They essentially just want to reduce the amount of spam that's being sent out. So now that that has been added to the journey, you can start to see this is a very basic flow, but I can repeat these steps, just do another time delay, do another email, and I can start to sequence out 6 months worth of messaging in one journey in a proactive way. Now you can get really crazy with the different things you can do here. We're going to quickly go over the different actions, but this should spark ideas and give you inspiration for what's possible in the journey section of Zoho Marketing Automation. So you can send an email, an SMS, a WhatsApp message. You can add them to a list, remove them from a list, assign a tag, remove a tag, update contact. You can update the lead score. You can update the lead stage. You can send internal emails. You can do subscription management, time delay, wait condition, webhook, move to another journey. You can remove from this journey. You can push data into Zoho CRM, create a task, and create a deal within CRM as well. So here's my advice. Don't go too crazy on this. Start small. Build a good first journey. It can be as simple as the one that I've just created in front of you. It can be this simple. Don't feel like you have to do this huge mural of different interactions and over engineer this. Start small and get more advanced. And that's how you can create a journey inside of Zoho Marketing Automation. How do you create landing pages in Zoho Marketing Automation? When you go to the application, you'll see under lead generation, there's a section for landing pages. And you can create a landing page by going to the create a page button. We'll just give this a name demo. And I'm going to show you the different templates that are available here. So this is one of the neat capabilities of Zoho Marketing Automation is you can create these landing pages, append them to your site, and then generate leads right from Zoho Marketing Automation without the use of any other application, which is just great. Now, you don't have this capability in, let's say, Zoho Campaigns. Zoho Campaigns is purely for creating journeys, and sending those campaigns. You have this more robust capability inside of Zoho Marketing Automation. So this is where it stands out. There's a lot of overlap. If you're confused as to why there's two apps, really the idea is Zoho Marketing Automation would mimic more of a robust marketing automation platform such as HubSpot, where Zoho Campaigns is more narrow in the scope of what it's to accomplish. It's similar to like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign. Okay, so back to this. How do we actually set this up and what would it look like to get started with a landing page? Well, let's say I wanted to select one of these here. I could first preview it to see, hey, this is where I want to start with my landing page. This one's kind of ugly. I'm going to keep going through here. Let's do this one. Okay, this is kind of dramatic. Okay, so I preview this and I can see it on both desktop, on a tablet view, and on a mobile view. And I can say, okay, you know what? This looks good for me. This is where I want to start with my template. So once I go to use template, if I click on this button here, it's going to kick off and it's going to build this site, this landing page for me. So I get started on configuration and customization. So you can see here, you got a pretty robust site tool here where I can actually build the website. So I can go through here. You can see there's different sections that I can use for editing the text. I can go here and I can change the layout. It's a pretty robust site builder. So that allows me to get started there. I'm not going to go through all the customization capabilities on the landing page. I just want to show you that you can create it, and there's a lot of capability for customization of the landing page. Once I've got that, I can go to SEO settings. If you don't know much about SEO, SEO stands for S for search engine optimization. And it's essentially your way of configuring a website so that Google likes it more and pops it up at the top. If you're not on the first page of Google, you're invisible. So if you want to be in the top 10, you got to do what's called on-page SEO, which is the optimizations or the changes that you make on the website so that Google likes you more. There's a bunch of different schools of thoughts and philosophies on how to do this, but the cool thing is this SEO section is configurable. So you can go here, you can name the page title, you can put in keywords that you want to rank for, a meta description, and then you have this robots.txt section. So you can say no index, no follow, no archive. I'm not going to get into that, but those are just some different SEO capabilities and things that you can change. Okay, so then you've got script. If you want to insert tracking codes for, let's say, Google Analytics here, you could add a script to the landing page and you can add that as well, which is great. So you have response actions. So you can configure actions based on responses from the page visitors. So once someone actually submits a form, you can choose different activities. Hey, we want to add them to a certain segment. We want to add them to a certain list. We want to add them to a journey. We want to modify their score. And then based on this as well, if you wanted to update a field, then you could add them over to a segment, which is what I'd recommend. It's tempting to use the list, but lists are static and segments are dynamic. So it's good to err on the side of a dynamic segment than a static list. Okay. So that's your ability to then choose response actions based on when people submit the form on your website. Then you can also push to the CRM. So you can say, hey, look, if someone is submitting a form on this landing page that I built, not only do I want them in Zoho Marketing Automation, I want them in Zoho CRM. So when their sales ready, the sales team, we can do a nice handoff from marketing over to sales, and it can be in their queue and we can push them off. So you have this ability to configure with the different CRMs that you might have, or with the CRM that you do have. Hopefully you don't have more than one. Here you can perform this action, update existing and push new contacts, update existing contacts only. By the way, this will highly depend on if you have one or two offers. We're not going to go way into that, but basically you can choose which CRM module this is going to go into. Actually, I will go into it. What you do here is if you have one offer, you're just going to update an existing contact. If you have multiple offers, then a lead is considered an opportunity, not a person. So you'd create a new lead if there was a new opportunity that arose from a landing page submission, as an example. We can go way down the rabbit hole on that. We're not going to, but that's just a quick explanation. You can view map fields. So you can say, hey, here's the information from Zoho Marketing Automation the form on the landing page. And then here are the fields in Zoho CRM. So you can map those together. And then you can map a custom score. So you can say, hey, this is the score inside of Zoho Marketing Automation, and this is the Zoho CRM lead score. So the idea here is you could say, hey, we're going to award them 100 points if they go on this landing page and fill out this contact us form or clarity call form. That way they're immediately breaching the threshold for becoming sales ready. As an example, again, there's a lot that goes into it. I don't have time to explain all of it, but that's the general idea. So you can say that after you do field mapping, and then you can publish the landing page. So once you publish the landing page, you can publish it for free by using their ugly domain. But if you want to use your custom domain, you have to do some work and get your domain added to Zoho Marketing Automation. And essentially it would append Zoho Marketing Automation's landing page to your domain. So you'd get like marketing.yourdomain.com, something like that. So you'd have to enter your custom short domain. That's what would be at the beginning. So almost like here, you can see ma.zoho.com. It would be like something like marketing or like pages.yourdomain.com as an example. So once you add your domain, then you can actually publish that and it will exist on your site. So that is how you can create a landing page and get it operational in Zoho Marketing Automation. If you want to track leads and revenue in your organization in the best way possible, then you should use Attributor. So you can see here, this is my executive dashboard. It's a demonstration of the one that I actually use. So it's just an example version. But what's nice about this is I can see exactly what of my marketing efforts are translating into closed won revenue for the organization based on a last touch attribution model. Now, the reason that I'm able to do this is because I have my tracking locked down. I know exactly where people are coming from. I use UTM parameters. I'm doing those things properly. So this wouldn't be possible without this tool Attributor, because Zoho can't do some things out of the box. For example, if someone goes onto your website from a Facebook post that you have promoting your business, and you have in the URL in this Facebook post your UTM parameters. If you don't know what UTM parameters are, here's some UTM parameters. So you'll see at the end of this URL, it says UTM source, Facebook, UTM medium, 18 tool article, UTM campaign, content promotion. If you have UTM parameters, that's what allows you to make a report like this. This is a UTM parameter. This is the parameter source, right? So I can see Google, YouTube, what's producing revenue for my organization. Now, let's say you do that. You add your UTM parameters. It looks good. If someone jumps on your website and then they navigate off the initial page, those UTM parameters disappear. You can go check on other people's websites. Unless they have a functionality called UTM persist, it's going to disappear, which means your tracking disappears once they navigate off the initial page. That's why oftentimes when you go onto someone's landing page, there's no options to navigate anywhere else because they don't want to lose the tracking. But inevitably, when we feel locked into a page, we usually just go search for their company name on Google and find their website and then navigate through that. So to keep it all the tracking in one place, the advantage with Attributor is twofold. Number one, instead of storing your UTM parameters in the URL, when someone actually gets onto your website, it takes the UTM parameters from the initial page and it stores them on a cookie. That way, when they fill out a form, it pushes from the form to Zoho Marketing Automation or to your CRM. So it has a really good integration with Zoho. It works very well, and it allows me to do my tracking in the best way possible so I don't have gaps in my tracking. So that's the first thing. Number two, if organic traffic is a big one for you, and it's a big one for a lot of my clients, this will append UTM parameters to organic traffic, and it will generate UTM parameters for you automatically if you forget to put them on your URL. And you probably will, because I mean, look at this. This is just a little complicated. By the way, if you get Z training, I have a section in there where there's a template where you can build UTM parameters. It's just something people forget to do. And you actually can't add UTM parameters to the end of your organic listing, like Google search URL. You can't do that. So Attributor solves that problem by adding UTM parameters for you automatically in that case as well. So 2 things that you'll get from Attributor. You can check it out. The pricing at the time of making this video is $49 per user per month for one site, up to 500 leads per month. If you have more than that many leads coming in the door, then you should be able to afford Professional, which is $99 per month. I almost said per user per month with one site for up to 1,000 leads per month. Okay. So if you want Enterprise, then you can contact, I believe it's Aaron at Attributor. He's a great guy and he can help you get set up. So I am partnered with Attributor because this product is so helpful. A lot of my clients hate making UTM parameters. They want to have it happen automatically and they lose tracking. And so they're like, why are we setting this up if every time someone navigates off the initial page, we lose tracking? So you want to make sure that you use this if you want to take marketing attribution seriously. Let's talk about lead scoring. And before we get into the tactical things you can do inside of Zoho Marketing Automation to actually make lead scoring a reality, I'm going to give you a quick explanation because this is a topic that gets really confusing really fast. So the purpose of lead scoring is you want to better guess which opportunities or leads are hot and which ones are cold, because not all leads are equal. For example, if someone subscribes to your newsletter, are they equal in opportunity for you to go after than someone who submits a contact us form, book a free consultation? Someone who books a free consultation, that's a way hotter opportunity than someone who's just subscribed to your newsletter. Could you imagine calling someone who subscribed to your newsletter and saying, hey, we'd like to book a free consultation? They're like, I just want to learn more. That's not a good assumption to make if someone subscribes to a newsletter that they want to book a free consultation. Someone wants to book a free consultation, that's way more intent for sales ready than for marketing ready. But how do you actually score in the meantime? Because these people who subscribe to your newsletter, they'll get warmer eventually. And so how are you going to guess if they're a hot lead? How do you know if they're a cold lead? Well, that's where you get into scoring. So scoring is pretty much, it's mostly important before they're sales ready. So everything before sales ready, you want to understand how warm an opportunity is. And you want to set a threshold, because if someone's awarded over, let's say 300 points, maybe you want to automatically move them over to sales ready. So let's dive into the tactical now. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of a clearer picture on why you would want to use lead scoring in the organization. Honestly, for most people, this is overkill. Just use what's out of the box. This has been enabled already. You can see different behaviors here are being awarded a certain amount of points. And I would use their structure out of the box. This is actually pretty well thought out for the most part. Don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel here. Just keep this integrated for now. And then if you want to modify it over time, you can. But with that, there's 2 different ways you can score. So for example, as one example, you have information-based scoring. So if someone's title equals CEO, you could award them 50 points because they would match what you'd consider in marketing your ideal customer profile or the person that you're trying to target with your messaging. So if they are your bread and butter type customer, you may want to award them more points so you can mark them as a more hot lead. Just so that you can see the way that Zoho Marketing Automation is classifying this, 0 to 99 points would be cold, considered cold. 100 to 199 would be considered warm. Over 200 would be a hot contact or a hot opportunity. Now, this seems a bit arbitrary to me, like there's not a ton of strong reasoning behind this, but use their structure out of the box. And if you want to go ahead and change this later, you can always do that. So you've got information-based scoring and then you got behavior-based scoring. This is behavior-based scoring, right? Unique opens, multiple clicks, unique click, multiple click, unique reply. All of that's behavior-based scoring. If you want to do field-based, that falls under the bucket of information-based scoring. So you could proceed here and you could say, hey, if their title equals, we'll do contains CEO, then we want to award them 20 points because that's our ICP. So ICP criteria. Now you may have more ICP criteria than this. Don't feel like you got to be perfect about this, but this gives you the general idea of how to create a scoring rule for field-based scoring, okay? And then you've got website activities-based scoring. So this is what's really cool about Zoho Marketing Automation because it has the ability to look into your website. You can actually put an embed code there. Because you're tracking website activity, you can do website activity-based scoring. Now, this is again more advanced, but it's important for you to understand this capability when doing scoring. You can award points based on the first page seen, time of visit, last page seen, time of latest visit. You have all these different triggers to then award points. So that's what's really helpful about this is you can do behavior-based scoring. Within that, you have if they interact with your campaigns, they interact with your website, and then you have information-based scoring so you can award points based on the data that you've collected on their contact. If this sounds like gibberish to you, don't stress it. This is more advanced, but I want to give you an idea of why this would be important for a larger organization. For smaller orgs, you're probably not going to worry too much about it. You're just waiting for people to fill out the contact us form, then they'll enter your CRM, then you'll actually call them. But we're talking everything before sales qualification. So if you're taking marketing seriously, if you have lead magnets, if you're collecting those contacts, if you're trying to nurture them over time so that you're top of mind for them, because the principle is most people in your database are not sales ready, but they will be. And so you want to be top of mind so that as soon as they're ready to make a purchase decision, you're the one in their inbox, not somebody else. You're the one top of mind, not someone else, not one of your competitors. So that's why we're talking about this lead qualification stuff. And it's just helpful to know, hey, on average, when people become sales ready or book a contact us form, do they have 300 points, 200 points? Is our nurturing making a difference? You can see all of that because of these scoring rules. So that is an explanation of scoring rules and how you can actually implement it inside of Zoho Marketing Automation. Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 versus Zoho Campaigns. What's the difference and why should you use one over the other? Well, Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 is more robust. It's like HubSpot, where Zoho Campaigns is less capable. It's more like MailChimp. But that doesn't mean Zoho Campaigns is bad. It just means it's designed for sending emails and SMS campaigns, creating workflows, drips, journeys, and that's about it. Whereas in Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0, you can do all those things and build landing pages so you can actually collect leads right into your system. So it's a more capable system than Zoho Campaigns. My philosophy is it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So I think it's better for people to move into Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0. Although I will say a lot of my clients just use Zoho to send mass marketing emails. That's what they want to do. And that requirement is met with Zoho Campaigns. So I'll leave it up to you, but Zoho Marketing Automation 2.0 is more robust. One of my hangups with Zoho Marketing Automation is the reporting is quite limited, but I'm going to be honest with you. This applies to pretty much every application inside of Zoho and outside of Zoho. In-app report builders are usually baked in. They're not very customizable. They're not very robust. And most people using applications like Zoho Marketing Automation end up moving to Zoho Analytics. And this is where I recommend that you start because it's most likely where you're going to end up with reporting. Also, here's my argument for getting Zoho Analytics, which is a part of Zoho One. So if you're in Zoho One, you're in luck. If you're not in Zoho One, I highly recommend that you check it out. It's the best deal in business software. It's the least amount that you're going to pay for getting that amount of applications and capabilities for your business. So go ahead and check it out. Okay, so attribution. You'll see Zoho Marketing Automation stops attributing success after sales ready. So it can make a guess at how much revenue you've generated from what you're doing, but it really can only say you've generated this many sales ready opportunities. Now, a sales ready opportunity, think about that. That means marketing prepared an opportunity so that sales can just talk to someone. A discussion at the beginning of the sales process has a very distant relationship with closing revenue for the organization. And unless you can bridge the gap between marketing and sales, you can't confidently say that you're making money for the organization. You can guess, but you don't really know. And so what's nice about Zoho Analytics is you can bridge that gap. You can see here's closed won deals for the organization. There's also, you can do this for B2C as well, but it's important. It's a little trickier to do it for B2B. That's why I recommend using Zoho Analytics. So you can see here, this is the important thing. I have my lead sources here. I can tell exactly which of my efforts is leading to closed won revenue. Now this is lead source. We could actually change this parameter for like email marketing campaigns so I can see which of my marketing campaigns is producing revenue too, based on a last touch attribution model, which is the attribution model that you're going to want to start with. And most likely you'll never change that. So start with a last touch attribution model. Okay. So my argument here is if you don't have a report like this, and you're just left with this, you're really driving blind because you could be providing what you deem as a sales ready lead. And then the sales team is like, all of the leads that you produce are junk. None of them produce revenue. None of them close. And so that's the problem. That's the thing that you want to solve for. And so when you have a report like this, if you can tie the gap from an effort to revenue, then you can start to see what actually works. You can direct your efforts in that direction, and you can stop spending time on things that don't produce revenue. You want to spend, as a marketer, your job is to spend your time on activities, marketing activities that produce revenue. That's the goal, right? Maybe you are in most of the organizations I work with, that's what their marketing teams do. Some are doing demand, are really focusing on generating like brand awareness, but most people are like, no, we want to not just do demand gen and lead gen, we want our activities to generate more revenue. And I work with a lot of smaller companies too, that's like their hyper focus. So you can also see the reporting here is very robust. You can see visits month to month. For example, here's some of my YouTube stats from month to month. You can see leads generated month to month, MQLs month to month. You can do so much with the reporting here. You can connect to multiple data sources. So you could put your, you could mix your information from Zoho Marketing Automation with Google Analytics, Sales IQ, so you can get a full understanding, the full picture of what's happening in your marketing or your buyer's journey from left to right. So from a social media user or a website browser to a visitor on your site, from a visitor on your site to a lead, from a lead to a deal, from a deal to close one, to a project completed. You can get a full picture of what's going on in your organization with Zoho Analytics. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up to you is the reporting in Zoho Marketing Automation is just so basic that I feel like I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't encourage you to at least consider Zoho Analytics as an option and demonstrate to you why I think it's a better option than Zoho Marketing Automation.